Alright guys, so I don't really have any kind of script on what I'm gonna be going over, so I'm just gonna be freeballing this entire process on everything, on how I view the charts, and what I do when I first open up TradingView for my analysis, going through my day, uh, so I can trade. Um, so I'll just go ahead and show you today's analysis. Did wake up a little bit later than usual, so uh, I literally just woke up again. It's like almost 5 p.m. Well, I went to bed late, woke up at a good time. It doesn't take me long for analysis, like 10, 15 minutes, since I used TradingView for an in-depth analysis, mostly using three indicators. I only need like two. Um, I usually just copy everything I see on TradingView onto my Top Step X account. So, but we'll just start with the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, we had this daily imbalance. I was bullish for today, but I knew that being, I knew that having a bearish move uh, would have been the game on the high time frame, because that's always focused on the high time frame narrative. The low time frame narrative is mostly for entry points. So I'm sure some of you guys already know that. So what we see here is the daily imbalance. You would mark that out. For us to go any higher, we'd have to hit these imbalances. That's internal range or external range to internal range to equilibrium, or vice versa with everything else. So how I would have seen today is on ES, we ended up sweeping previous days, but not showing displacement. So if we show displacement, meaning that if we had a candle closed over um, previous wick, that would have been displacement. Like as you guys can see right here, here's the previous wick on the daily, and we had full displacement above, having continuation after. If we don't receive that, you would expect previous day lows to get tapped into. But since that is also supported with imbalance, um, that would have been your drawn liquidity for your buys in today. So going to in today, yes, I was bullish. Yes, I ignored the daily imbalance because I thought we'd had to go a little bit higher first and then go back down. But we just immediately went straight down, which I'm not really complaining. Better to get that out of the way. Now I can actually have some type of bullish bias going through the rest of the week, because there's nothing that's stopping us now, and it's looking like 10 minutes till this daily candle closes. It's looking like this is our key level. For those of you that followed up with one of my trading models that I posted, which was a CRT model, this would be your CRT model that I'll be forming right now. So we have to focus on your key levels, the CRT, and your entry points. So our key level will be the daily, following with time frame alignment would be a 4-hour CRT. I don't really see our 4-hour CRT exactly. I see it mostly on NASDAQ, mostly just the biggest candle. Like as you can see on ES, the 4-hour CRT would be this one, but the highs have been swept, and I don't think we'll be sweeping any lows. The lows that haven't even been swept, we create an SMT. So what I can see here on NASDAQ is this will be our CRT. The L, which was just a low. The key level, we had liquidity sweep. Now just simply expect this high to be our target, our drawn liquidity. But this is, you got to keep in mind, this is an internal range of liquidity. Why? Because we are inside this entire box. External range of liquidity, external, that's outside. These are our external range of liquidities. This bottom, this top, formerly known as just swing points. This obviously inside the box, internal range of liquidity, internal liquidity inside the box. You guys can also view that with using your gone box for your EQ. What do we see here? We have a PD ray aligned with our equilibrium. Since our key level was hit, and let's say we didn't even have a PD array, and this was our key level, you'd mark this out, key level, and have some type of, well, I'd have to see on how the market plays out, because if you guys can see this, we have our high time frame order block. We ended up closing below, but we are respecting this PD array heavily. So I'd like to still, like I said, have a continuation bias overall. I mean, as you can see on the 4-hour, yes, we did tap into it. This wick ended up tapping into this, but we'll see if we have any other imbalances. Most likely this PM low would get swept, and then we'll just retrace back up. So if this is our 4-hour CRT, you would look for our 5-minute entry point. So what do we see in the 5-minute? No imbalances. The only thing that I see is this wick right here. So what you can do, you can use other fib tools to measure out on where price will end up coming into. I'm gonna keep some information exclusive. So as of right now, I'm sure in other previous videos I've also just leaked out information that would be needed. So as you guys can see, we have a huge wick. If we want continuation, we would expect 0.5 CE point of this wick to get respected. So far, we're respecting the CE point. We're not showing any displacement. Like I said, we need displacement. There is no displacement. These are 15-minute candles. It's 45 minutes and still no displacement with 5 minutes left. Either we actually just simply come down and sweep this and then have our continuation, or we just simply use this as an entry point. You would use your C point, market buy, stop loss will be down here, targeting our CRH. This is what I would do going into everything. So I'm probably just gonna leave this here. If it's a loss, it's a loss, but this would be generally a CRT model. Using a rejection block. Rejection blocks I consider as a PD array. On all time frames, we still have this PD array still here, so I'd like to see this rejection block, simply just a high time frame wick, used as a PD array, use the CE point. Yeah. So I'm just gonna leave this here because this is just curiosity off of one of the models I used. we do have ES that's lagging, NQ is leading. So maybe we might create an SMT with Asia. It's kind of a bad timing right now. So I'd have to simply see on how Asia reacts, but I'm just gonna leave this here. I'm expecting though this wick to either be a rejection block and we respect CE point, or we simply just go for a liquidity sweep right here, because this would still be ideal for a liquidity sweep. I don't know much still about rejection blocks. I just know that, like, whether to know if how do you know a rejection block isn't um, a sell side liquidity mark, you know what I mean? And price will end up coming down to it. But for me, what I'm seeing right now is a recent price action. So on the 15-minute time frame, we have all these candles coming down, and we didn't retrace back up, continue downward, none of that. Because if we were, then I'd expect this liquidity level to be swept. But we had forced pressure come down and form without, even on the 5 minute, we just straight up had continuation downwards. There was no trend that was formed, nothing to fill out this imbalance, etc. So, and you can see price actions behavior. Yes, we did close with New York. So price action with New York does have low volume, but I'm actually curious to see on how this plays. That's what would be going through my mind is we have this huge candle going down, and then volume slows down at our CE point. Just look at a high time frame narrative and price action behavior. Um, that's what I do. I don't know on how other people do. I just do what I do. Since we have all these other liquidity levels marked up, um, I could firmly place my TP right up here. Since I'm in 10 cons, I could place a partial at these liquidity levels or imbalances right up here, because I know we had imbalances in this area, which is why I was bullish going in today. Like this is what today looked like. We formed our SMT, and then right when market opened, what did price do? We ended up sweeping it, and then we started dumping. It seems like a lot of people were bullish today, but this daily imbalance had to get taken out sooner or later, and as you can see, it was straight up immediately. So I ended up taking an L, and then I ended up running into psychology, which was I FOMO'd in one of the trades, so simply just got off the charts after seeing that bullshit. I'm trying to think. Like, we don't have any other PD rays in this entire range. So that's what I'd use. This whole entire week would have caught my entire eyes on any time frame, knowing that we are respecting a key level, which would be our CRT model. Trying to think what else. So I'm just gonna move on from this entire thing right here. I'm gonna see what else I can show you guys. Funny thing is, actually going back, I had an entry level right here at CE point of this daily. I ended up getting stopped out from this wick right here. I entered again, placed my stop loss at the bottom of this imbalance, but ended up getting stopped out right here, forming the SMT. If I took it on ES, which I wouldn't have had, I wouldn't have got stopped out. I would have been in profit. Probably had a break even. day if I did just hold my stop loss below, which I should have, but I was emotional and FOMO'd going into today after just seeing this huge candle down. I thought we were just gonna. I did have a recording on me entering on NQ. We had 1 hour PD array down here, which was in discount for me supporting longs. So I entered on the CE point. Price was just a little bit. It was weird. I couldn't tell if we were forming an SMT, which would have been super beneficial for the trade that I was in, because ES was lagging hella. We were just still chopping up right here. For me, in my eyes, respecting this 1 hour. In my eyes, we were disrespecting the first, but respecting our discount area, which would have just gave us perfect placements and have continuation upwards. So with the support of an SMT, but we did not get that. So that's where I entered. I got stopped out because high time frame imbalance is a high time frame magnet for price action for the entire market. So okay, we do have an SMT up here though, so NQ is lagging hella. But following everything, there is no CRT model on this. And here, I only see a CRT down here because the liquidity sweep for our CRL was taken out. So this would be our protected swing. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave this here. It's only a paper trade. I'm learning something after this trade using rejection blocks to see if I understand all that correctly, which I think I do, but it might not be in this trade specifically because of how ES, the other correlated pair, is reacting because we are way back up here now. Okay, I know my charts might seem pretty messy right now with these indicators, but I'm gonna go over. Actually, I have a list of things: kill zone slash macros, wicks, rejection blocks with continuation. Okay, so I went over this. Um, my eyes were respecting this PD array. Um, I want to see now continuation or market maker model. Market maker models are like this. This was our manipulation leg. We're going to consolidate and then reach back up. This is our market maker model. The market forcefully putting us down really low for institutions or other bankers, whatever you guys want to believe in, to buy in. I think on a long term and focusing on the high time frame, I think this was just a huge buying opportunity before we even reach out above again, all-time highs. So I myself took advantage of this dip with, you know, my actual investments and everything. So I ended up buying more of my stocks that I invest into because we're now playing above all-time high. Well, we actually are above all-time highs now, but in an internal range, not playing an external range. But because now we are in um, all-time highs, I would expect price action to be something else for sure. I mean, I've never traded all-time highs before. So what you guys will be using when trading into all-time highs is using your internal range of liquidity as your drawn liquidity. Like let's say if we were in external range of liquidity price action, there's nothing you can target up here. It's just mid-air. There's nothing you can target. I can give this out for you guys. We have standard deviation as something that you guys can use. How to find standard deviation? We got it simply right here. Standard deviation is PO3 or AMD. What is AMD? We have accumulation, manipulation, down into PD array, which supports it even more, then distribution. Yes, we're chopping around, but this is distribution. So what you would do is you would place your standard deviation at the swing point or the manipulation leg. You would align your standard deviation with a PD array. As you guys can see on the 5-minute time frame, price looks a lot more cleaner for me. And our -2 lines up with our CRH. I've lost enough today. I've hit my max daily loss on my TopStepX account, so I would not be taking this trade on my TopStepX, even though I want to a little bit. But I already had my fun time, so I'm just gonna sit out on this. That's a big if this even works out. Using simply a rejection block as a PD array to enter off of. But this is how you set your standard deviation. The swing point of the manipulation, if we are looking for a bullish continuation, you would mark up going from bottom to high. In this case, right up here, I tried marking out standard deviation in this area, but we consolidated in this manipulation. So I wouldn't really consider this as anything. You could probably mark it down here. I usually use 5-minute time frame for my standard deviation placements. So right here, accumulate, manipulate. How do we know it's a valid manipulation leg and just not price diddle daddling? Is because we had our previous sessions ended up getting tapped into, and maybe a PD array was down here. So that gives me enough information to know that this standard deviation would be a valid draw. I don't think this one's going to be lined up because I probably have to focus on the higher time frame. Yeah. You guys are using 3 candles, by the way. The swing point, the middle candle, which should be a PD array, and the high. I use the wicks. I was talking with a friend, and they said sometimes they might use a body, but it all really does depend. With confluence and the narrative, yes, you guys can simply use standard deviation as reversal points. You don't have to worry about these 3 numbers. You can take partials at the -1. -1 is basically, so if I was in a long right now, which I am, I would use the standard deviation as my partials or a potential reversal, or use it as confluence, knowing that it's lined up with my drawn liquidity. As you guys can see, I'm in a long right now. I have a drawn liquidity, which would be using the CRT model, and that drawn liquidity would just be this high, or this 4-hour swing point high would be my drawn liquidity. If now I have standard deviation, I realized that the -2 is lined up with this. So I would know that this is supported. This is a high probable area on where price would actually end up going towards. Plus, we also have our PD arrays resting above here. So I would most likely have 9 contracts ended right here and have 1 contract, which would be my trailing all the way up here. I don't really know how to set trailing on TradingView. Yeah, I'd have to go through this entire area, but I don't feel like it. So right now the market is just now on like a little maintenance check thing. It shouldn't be moving, but I need to eat soon. Fuck. Can't believe I've actually been sleeping all day. Um, so going back to one of the videos that I showed you on how to use midnight open and daily open, um, you guys can see right here, 8:30 is right up here. Our daily is right here. Our midnight open is right here. Um, on a bearish day, above this area would be our premium. This is where you guys would want to short. My bias was wrong and everything else, and I knew this was honestly going to be a possibility. I just didn't know we were going to end up going down to this daily so soon and literally immediately. Um, so yeah, that would have been your area to short. Reason why I didn't is because we just had all these imbalances down here that I thought was going to get respected, form an SMT, and then target Asia as our drawn liquidity, or for extra TPs, these imbalances, which are BPRs, as you guys can see, imbalance of an imbalance of an imbalance, etc., and other liquidities. So these imbalances would just support on price coming up, tapping into this. I mean, I'm on the 15-minute time frame and we see equal highs up here as well. Relative equal highs all in this area. So the only thing that was stopping us is that daily imbalance. But you guys need to come into, so this is what I do. When I get into the charts, I know I went a little bit off topic with everything, but this is valuable information with everything that you guys are seeing. We have the daily open right here. So I would expect an open, our open. I'm just going to open. I'm trying to think. Having a brain fart right now. This would be our bullish candle. I want a bullish candle, which would be open, low. Our high would have been up here. And then our close would have been like in this area. As you guys have seen some of the charts or the little drawings that I've done for you guys, open, high, low, close. Boom. This is what I wanted to see today. And this is what I use every single day. I would go on to 1 hour and 4 hour and see where macros would end up hitting. It was pretty obvious that we were going to draw into this daily imbalance. So I wish I held that trade, but no biggie, no biggie, no biggie. I need to stop thinking about that though. I get carried away. Like, I don't know if it's OCD, but I get obsessed over some specific thoughts that I would think of. Whether that's good or bad, most of the time it's good because you want to be obsessed over good things that will benefit your future, not bad things, because that is out of your control. It's irrelevant. It's in the past. Move on. A little bit of psychology, I guess, for today. I wouldn't have been able to. There was no entry points for me at all. There's only a bullish entry point for me today. Wasn't a bearish entry point for me. We didn't even draw back into this PD array. The one thing I could have done is gone on the 1 minute. I don't usually go on the 1 minute, but we would have had this area as an entry point. But it was also during 9:40 a.m., which was a little bit early. If you trade macros, I trade like the overall entire session, which is why I get a lot higher RRs. Ah, fuck. Okay, I need to stop thinking of today's price action, though, not gonna lie. Just can constantly think about what I should have done, coulda, shoulda, wouldas, and what ifs. Those eat me up alive sometimes. I'm just gonna exit out here. It's hot as fuck in my room. I think I'm like dehydrated and starved right now. Okay, what else should I go over? So that I went over CRT, I went over rejection blocks with you guys. I went over an example on open high low close, open low high close. Use that as a confluence and align that with your daily 8:30 and midnight open. I have 9:30 open because those of you that don't know, usually market open has a manipulation. We call that a Judah swing, where if you're bearish, we would have a bullish swing up and then our bearish move down. So you would mark out as 9:30 open. You can even use it as drawn liquidity or target levels as well. This entire trade looks actually really, it looks A plus for me, but I can't really say A plus because I don't trade using rejection blocks. I only have some type of exposure, and I have used rejection blocks as a trade for a main confluence. This entire trade would simply be all based off of this entire rejection block. Hold on, I need to take my hoodie off. Okay. I would really want to take this trade. Okay, it's weird because price ended up like having lower volume throughout the day on NASDAQ. On ES, we kind of recovered quickly because shorter range, longer range. Longer range, I expect EQ to get tapped. On a shorter range, I'd expect premium to get tapped, which is what's playing out right here, which could be against me on this trade right now. It is formally just an SMT getting formed, but we have standard deviation, we have CRT high up here, and we have a 930 that hasn't been retapped into all the way up here. 930 did not get tapped into. So you guys can be able to tell that NASDAQ was the extreme leading price or leading pair of today. It was kind of obvious, not gonna lie. My entry though was like down in this area. I could have bottom tick this entire move targeting up here. Fuck. Oh well. I don't see any SMTs though. Oh wait, yeah, I do. Damn, bruh. I was literally in a trade down here, bruh. Fuck. Okay. I'm trying to think what else I should go over with you guys. So I have, okay, kill zones. what are kill zones? This is what this entire indicator helps me, see going into today. Like how the fuck am I supposed to know anything? Um, Obviously, what I know with market experience, I would know that somewhere in this range, because of this high volume, would be our silver bullet area, or formerly known as New York session as a kill zone, New York kill zone. So I would know that this would be New York right here. Also, the time down at the below literally tells you. But without having to worry about time, you could just tell off of market's behavior which is what kill zone. I would expect, okay, so since this is New York and we had consolidation right here, I'd expect this area to be London or Asia session. We had a nice drawdown right here, a high move and a high move down. This would be our manipulation. We can probably set our standard deviation right up here. Right here. What did price do? We ended up respecting these areas. This is what I should have had marked out for today, because I would have waited. I would have not taken the trade right up in this area. Because shoulda wouldas again. I'm doing it again, guys. Gotta quit it, because that eats me up sometimes. Yeah, so it's for those of you that, I mean, it's not really hard to understand what kill zones are. Kill zones is a specific time in which so a specific market opens. So we have Asia market that opens at 8 p.m. It's usually 6 p.m. market opens. We use that daily, that new 4 hour candle as Asia. So usually we consolidate not much volume when market opens until Asia official market opens with the higher ish volume. Usually there's not that much high volume with Asia, so Asia is usually a consolidation session. I view every 3 sessions as AMD. We got Asia as A, accumulation. London's usually a manipulation area. And then markets, New York market is our distribution or our continuation phase with the market overall. As you guys can see, prime examples right here. We just had straight distribution today. That's actually crazy because market opened. I got edged by half a point. Like right here was where my entry was at. I didn't get filled. Clear draw liquidity. Insane. Price just immediately opens and runs. Open and ran. So, this is what I use for my kill zones. ICT kill zones and pivots. The pivots is just extra settings you guys would want. This is your timing for your kill zones. Copy this, write it down, whatever you guys want. Pretty simple. It's just, again, specific times when market opens, and that's it. Lunch session, usually during lunch session, what I notice is, yes, there could be, it's known for lower volume, not much really goes on. But because of that, a lot of people are off the charts at that time. And usually when it's that time, it's like a hidden phase where the market will like to sneak something in. So what I've noticed is I've even had a trade during lunch session, which I try not to do. I try not to trade mid session because of the volume purposes. But you would sometimes see a huge move or a huge setup for PM session. So sometimes market would like to sneak something in. And then once PM session opens, which is 1:30, usually around 2:30, is where higher volume kicks in. 2:30 through market to end, which is 4. So yeah, I would rate that down. Write this down for kill zones, and then I'm probably gonna end the video. We have Asia that opens at 6 p.m., but we have low volume. Our higher volume actually kicks in at 8 p.m. Asia lasts from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. I don't know if you guys can hear me. I think my mic just died, so I'm gonna type this out. Yeah, so I mean, if you guys can hear me or not, this is what you guys need to know. That's all for today. I'm gonna go eat.